Hello everybody, as it's approaching Lornemass Day, got to dress for the occasion, haven't I? You know, I felt like it was a bit weird as like I ordered it and it came in a box. It was open, it opened to see that. It was just a bit of a strange moment because I've seen that footage so many times and I just thought, fuck it. Yeah, but yeah, there we go. So there's there's a part of the lawsuit that I was reading, right, and it's where Lorne kind of addresses the court, and in fact you can see it here. This is like the exact you know, word for word verbatim what happened at court's transcript, and we'll just quickly touch upon it here. The reason I just wanted to make this very quick video is because it's just interesting what he says. So they entered, I know the guideline range is lower than 60 months, but there's another charge that could have been brought that would have involved a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years. So that's why the plea was negotiated the way it was, and we do feel it's a reasonable sentence. Is there anything that you would like to say to the court? We do feel it's a reasonable sentence. I mean, that's Lorne's counsel. Do you know what I mean? So this is what Lorne said. This is something, I don't know whether he pre-wrote it or it's just something that he spur of the moment, but it's interesting because it's a full confession, and despite all these crazy lawsuits and I never meant to do all that kind of stuff, this is you know, imagine, right, in the court situation if there's like when the sentence got passed, he said, "Oh no, Strong, I find you guilty," and he just went, "Court," like every time something went wrong. Anyway, so here we are. I would like to apologise very much to the court and actually to the world for doing such a disgustful, I'm not sure that's a word, I don't think that's a word, a disgustful and tasteful, that's what makes me laugh, tasteful thing. It's like, oops, it's kind of like an embedded confession. It's like he meant to say tasteless but said tasteful, so there's still a part of him that saw what he tried to do and still finds it appealing. Tasteful, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I'll have a bit of that, for doing such a disgustful. So like, he's coming out with this claim, with this kind of apology, and in the first sentence he's already fucked up twice. Disgustful isn't a word, and tasteful is the wrong word to use in that context, because he's trying to apologise and grovel. Tasteful thing, and then he corrects himself. Tasteless thing on my part. It's not like me to ever do something so shameful. It's not like me to ever do something so shameful. Well, he did do it, and I would really like to apologise and hope the world can forgive me for what I've done. What's kind of interesting is his sort of delusions of grandeur, I think, come out in this, because he says here, and you know, I'd like to apologise very much to the court and actually to the world. Well, it's like, in his mind, what he's done, or sort of what's happened to him, the whole world's involved, because he's got this sort of grandiose version of himself. The whole kind of world's paying attention to it and wants to know, you know, he's paying attention to what's going on and all that. So it's like, yeah, I want the whole world to know, you know, that I apologise very much. And then he mentions it again at the end and says, I would really like to apologise and hope the world can forgive me for what I've done. As well as like his bizarre, you know, choice of words and his fuck ups and this sort of delusions of grandeur that he's got. It's a total confession. He's pleaded guilty. He's entered into a plea agreement, and well, that's it's just basically, I've done something so shameful. But yet, throughout the lawsuits which I've been going through, and there's some more documents that I'm going to get through at some point. There's shitloads of stuff. There's some like really good bits that I've not even touched upon yet. But it's just finding time to do it, because I'd probably have there's so many documents, right, and I'd have to sit down for quite a lot of time and go through them, because there's pages like this document here. It's just what happened at the court mainly, and his plea agreement. It's 204 pages for me to sort of go through all of these documents, of which there's like 10, because it's everything that happened from initial getting sentenced right through to all his appeals, even stuff that happened in prison. It took me hours and hours and hours to sift through it all and pick out the good bits, because I've wrote the pages down and the good stuff. It just take me so I just can't divulge that much time to this. I don't get paid for any of this or anything. It's just a bit of a hobby. So every so often I just have to, like, I opened this up today and just like skimmed through it and found this bit, so I thought I'd make a quick video on it. It's not like me yet. So it just strikes me that through going through all these lawsuits, and it never at any point does he admit any guilt. He's always saying, he was Lorne, he was vulnerable, he was taken advantage of, everybody screwed him over. But yet, he's just groveling here. He's accepted a plea agreement. He's like, shameful, tasteless, well, tasteful. Please, can the world forgive me? And then a couple of months later, he's suing NBC for $80 million. Oh, you fucking... Oh dear. Anything further on behalf of the United States? No, Your Honour. The court will now sentence in this matter. The court accepts 11C and 1C written plea agreement. The court, having considered advisory sentencing guidelines in 80 blah blah blah, imposes the following sentence. It's the judgment of the court that the defendant is committed to the custody of the Bureau of Prisons for a term of 60 months as to count 1 in the indictment. Upon release from imprisonment, the defendant shall be placed on supervised release for a term of life as to count 1. The defendant shall abide by standard conditions of supervision adopted by the court, as well as special conditions. It's gone cold. I forgot how much time I've not drunk it. The defendant shall abide by standards and conditions of I've just read that, as well as special conditions, of which a copy has been provided to the defendant and counsel for both parties. The special conditions include specific sex offender conditions and certain financial restrictions. I wonder what those financial restrictions are. Probably in this document. Maybe I'll have a look at some point. Which will be explained by the United States probation officer. The defendant shall pay a special penalty assessment fee of $100 as to the single count of conviction. I don't understand that. I'm going to accept it. Hang on. It's noted that the guidelines range from 46 to 57 custody. The fine for the counsel for the defendant. No, one of the reasons for the 60-month further agreement to that. The court believes that a reasonable sentence to be 60 months. It's quite thorough, isn't it? But then again, if someone's being sent down for that amount of time. Hang on, what's this? No, what's that? Are there any objections to the sentence pronounced which have not previously been raised? No, Your Honour. On behalf of the defendant, no, Your Honour, but you would like to request that you recommend a facility in the state of Maine, or as close to Maine as possible. That's where his mother lives. The court, that's where his mother lives. Thank you. I will recommend that he be housed as close to his mother as possible. I'm not really sure what his appeal rights here, because under his plea agreement, well, he did waive them as long as you went along with the agreement. I think as long as it is within the applicable guidelines. Is that the way they wrote it? Yeah, so waiver. He waived his right to appeal. This is the thing, right? When, as part of the plea agreement, he waives his right to appeal the sentence, but yet he still appealed numerous times, appealed, sued, tried everything. So it says here he waived his right to appeal and to okay, so that's the sentence if the sentence opposed was within the applicable guideline. So if you do have a right to appeal your sentence, sir, you need to file a notice of appeal within 10 days after I enter an order. And if you can't afford an appeal, right, and he didn't do that within 10 days, but he still appealed anyway. And I think that's it. So there we go, the last words said. Proceedings concluded at 1:51 p.m. Mr. Shannon, thank you, Your Honour. And then, I mean, it's just like, obviously no footage exists of the court, and this is what, this is the only thing we've got, but it's still good though, isn't it? We've still got this. Anyway, so it was just, this is just a very quick video just to go over the, his bizarre, groveling, nonsensical apology. Like I said, I'll scan through some of the other documents at some point when I get a bit of time. I just, so yeah. But anyway, guys, let me know again what you think of the cam thing, whether you think it's worth sticking to. I'll be doing Lornemass Days on the 18th, so that's next Thursday. I'm not going to be streaming. I did say I was going to do a stream on my channel. I'm not going to do it on my channel. I'm going to do it on Adam's second channel. I'll put a link in the description here. So on the 18th we'll do like a Lornemass Day stream in the evening and just have some special guests attending and things like that. So yeah, it'll be cool. So guys, thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.